Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. We all know how secretive the SNP is. They don't let you know anything, even things that are relatively unimportant. If you asked them what day of the week it would be, they'd look left and right before whispering in your ear, and then they'd get it wrong. So when the Spanish ambassador speaks to Humza Yousaf, although you have to wonder why Humza Yousaf is committing himself to diplomatic talks when he is not a diplomat nor a national leader. It should be the United Kingdom government talking to the Spanish ambassador. However, the Spanish ambassador and Humza Yousaf had this meeting, and of course with typical secrecy from the SNP, they refused to discuss what went on in the meeting. They refused to say what they talked about, what was discussed, and all this. They would secret, not allowed to say, because they don't like telling you anything. Secrets and lies. And it's because it's so ingrained in them. They cover everything up. They never tell you anything about anything. Just in case, one day, if they go into the habit of telling you things, they may let the truth slip out. And that would be the end of them, wouldn't it? So they've kept and maintained this secrecy. And nobody told the Spanish ambassador. So when the SNP were questioned about what was discussed at the meeting, they said, "Oh, we can't tell you. It's ultra secret." Oh. Then about an hour later, the Spanish ambassador spills the beans and tells everyone everything. You can see the SNP officials pulling their hair out, going, "What's going on?" Anyway, we'll take a look at this article to see why are the SNP so secretive anyway. But we'll take a look at this article, see what was discussed. It probably wasn't much, but it's the principle that they absolutely hate the truth coming out. Here goes. So, secretive SNP undone by tweet about Humza Yousaf's meeting with Spanish ambassador. Officials refused to disclose what was discussed when First Minister met Madrid's top diplomat in London. But he, the diplomat, had no such qualms about confidentiality and releasing a full rundown on social media. And look, there's a picture. And he must feel so self-conscious, Humza Yousaf. He's never met anyone as important as the Spanish ambassador before. I mean, yeah, he's dealt with British politicians, but, foreign dignitaries. He's bestriding the world stage. He must feel so important as he's sitting there in the Spanish embassy. Anyway, I once got drunk in the Hungarian embassy, but that is a entirely different story. The SNP's government's latest attempt at secrecy saw officials refuse to release details of a meeting between Humza Yousaf and the Spanish ambassador because they don't tell you anything. Honestly, they wouldn't say. What are they talking about? They can't talk about anything on a national level because he's not a national leader. They can't talk about anything about defence because he knows nothing. They can't, what are they talking about? Nice day, do you like paella? I mean, that's basically it, isn't it? Anyway, he said there was a risk that disclosure would substantially prejudice relations between the UK and Spain. You are not qualified to deal with relations between the UK and Spain. And if you were discussing things that were at a national level between the UK and Spain, that's treason. I hope you were doing it. Anyway, unfortunately, nobody seems to have told the Spanish embassy in London because the ambassador himself published a full rundown of everything the two men talked about on social media after the meeting. Now, he's talking about, substantially prejudiced relations, as though it's something really important, right? Something, it must be vital. It's national security. It's these two giants. Oh, no, he didn't. Jose Pascual Marco Martinez said, "A very positive talk with the First Minister of Scotland, Humza Yousaf. We agreed to work together in such areas as energy transition, depopulation, rural development, education, or substantial tourism." Or, not and, or. So pick one of them. Anyway, he said, "We also discussed the challenges for young people in Scotland and Spain." So nothing of any import, is it? Energy transition. Well, yeah, we'd like to move over to energy that's clean. Okay, you've done that bit. Depopulation. Yeah, there's not enough people being born. There you go, you've done that. Rural development. We're building a shed. Okay. Education. we've got the world's worst education system. Okay, we know that, said the Spanish ambassador. Sustainable tourism? Not when you're trying to drive people out of your cities, you're not, you idiot. Anyway, he said he also discussed the challenges for young people in Scotland and Spain. They're entirely different. Young people in Spain have the problem that the euro has destroyed the tourism industry. They do have some industry, but in terms of actual sort of mechanical engineering industry, car making, things like that, not much. But there is some there, and then there's fishing and things like that. But it's predominantly a tourism-based economy. Whereas young people in Scotland have got a whole different set of challenges. A shitty education system and no jobs because of 16 years of SNP rule. Completely different things. Anyway, the tweet came during the First Minister's visit to London on May the 17th, when he was received by King Charles during an audience at Buckingham Palace. Even though he is a Republican and he despises the royal family and he's working his best to get rid of the royal family, but the king calls him and of course he's scurrying off. I'm going to meet the king. Hypocritical, two-faced git. Anyway, he had talks with Lord Mayor Nicholas Lyons. The Lord Mayor isn't really... See, the Lord Mayor isn't the Mayor of London. The Lord Mayor is just some bloke who wears a parrot on his head and turns up once a year to do the Lord Mayor's show. It's a ceremonial position. It's like the Sheriff of Nottingham. Anyway, following a trip, the Scottish Government was asked, under the Freedom of Information legislation, for a list of meetings between First Minister Humza Yousaf and Spanish officials or politicians since his appointment as First Minister, and for all minutes and notes taken regarding the topics of Catalonia or Scottish independence if they were discussed. Now that's the line. This is the nub. This is the meat, right? He was asked if he discussed Catalonia or Scottish independence. Oh, we can't discuss that. Whoa. As though it's top secret, right? That's the important thing. Officials responded, the effective conduct of international relations depends upon maintaining trust and confidence between the UK government and other states. You're not the UK government, remember. In this case, disclosing information about Scottish government engagement with Spain would substantially prejudice relations between the UK and Spain because there is a need to maintain confidential dialogue in order to ensure that future engagement can take place in a spirit of trust and openness. So, from that line, we can't say anything, we can't say it. They are trying to imply that Humza Yousaf discussed Catalonia, discussed the way that one area can leave a country, and they discussed, we're talking about Scottish independence with people, blah blah blah, and they're trying to imply that this happened. But of course, that was the implication, and that's why they kept it secret, to imply that this was happening. But in actual fact, none of that happened. They've been caught out. They were attempting to basically lie by implication, and they've been caught out. They didn't discuss any of that. They talked about conversational pieces, nothing of any real import. Certainly nothing to do with Scottish independence or the Catalonia issue. The Spanish will never discuss that, and certainly not with the Lord Mayor of Scotland. Anyway, despite this, Mr. Yousaf himself even alluded to the subjects under discussion at a time when he said Scotland and Spain already have many areas of collaboration. Green economy, trade and investment, education. These are things I'm committed to strengthening. Yeah, but Spanish opposition to Catalan independence has long been seen as one of the main stumbling blocks of the SNP's dream of a separate Scotland in the EU. And of course, this is why Spain will always veto Scottish application to the EU, whatever happens. Because if Scotland goes and leaves the United Kingdom, there is nothing stopping Catalonia leaving Spain and then applying to join the EU. Spain aren't having it. And so, whatever, no matter how much kissing of Spanish arse Humza Yousaf does, he is never getting the Scotland into the EU. Not while Spanish arses point downwards, honestly. Any one member state could veto Scotland's application, with Madrid seen as one of several likely candidates, as it would not want to encourage further unrest in its wealthy northeastern province. In May, the Scottish Conservative leader Douglas Ross called for a Holyrood debate on the SNP's secrecy, spin and cover-ups from the heart of government to mark the 16th anniversary of the Nats first getting elected. His Scottish Labour counterpart, Anna Sawar, has warned the SNP as a party collapsing under the weight of its own secrets. Well, it is. It's got these secrets, but there he is. He's saying, "Oh, I can't talk about it. What do we need about? Can't talk about Spain or Spanish ambassador or implying Catalonia, implying independence." And then the Spanish ambassador said, "Yeah, basically we talked about a load of old rubbish, nothing important," and sends it out. You couldn't make it up. Those lying lies. They try to spin everything. We know everything they do is a lie. And as I keep saying at the end of my video, the truth always comes out. Anyway, I'm rounding up. We're coming up. He always tries to big himself up, doesn't he? "Oh, well, look at me. I'm in an important meeting with the Spanish ambassador. We're discussing important matters of state." No, you're not. And then you try and keep it secret to simply to give the impression that you've been discussing all sorts of secret things that are really important because, you are this world leader. You're not. You're the Lord Mayor of Scotland. And the Spanish ambassador discussed nothing that was in any way important. And then he tells the world. Meanwhile, you are sitting there trying to keep it secret. You're ultimately incredibly sad. Is your ego so fragile? Humza Yousaf, just tell the truth. For heaven's sake, stop trying to lie and spin and make yourself look like someone who isn't a complete and utter jerk. Anyway, I shall round off there. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, the truth always comes out. Bye.